Coffee Talk on HVS-TV is sponsored in part by Blazin' Bagels. New York-style bagels made with all-natural ingredients, boiled and then baked on stone shelves. Take home a dozen with the coffee of the day. Visit the Commerce or Waterford locations today for their signature specialty sandwiches, stacked high and served on New York-style bagels. Thanks to Matt, Stu, and the crew at Blazin' Bagels for their support.
Hello and welcome to Coffee Talk with the Lakeland Counselors. To start off, I'd like to introduce the counselors to you. We have Lynn Burton on the end. We have Tamara DiLorenzo, Miss Elizabeth Rushton, and then we have myself, Sean Doherty. So what we like to do for our final episode of the year, we like to honor Lakeland's top 10 students. So as you can see, we've got 10 well-dressed, bright young men and women who will be going off to college soon. And so we're going to ask them a couple questions just to find out about what their experience was like in Lakeland High School and what future plans they have for themselves. So tonight's a night about celebration before they go on to senior honors night and as they move forward from high school. So to start off, we're going to have the students introduce themselves and tell us about where they're planning on going to school and what they're planning on studying. So start with Stacy.
Hi, my name is Stacy Michelle. I will be going to Grand Valley State University and I will be studying in accounting.
Hi, I'm Melanie Danowski. I'll be going to Northern Michigan University and I'm going to study environmental engineering.
Hi, I'm Megan Jacobs. I will be going to University of Michigan and also studying environmental engineering.
Hi, I'm Brittany Leonard. I'm going to Hope College next year and I am planning to study biology.
Hi, I'm Andrew Miller. I'm going to the University of Michigan next year and I plan on majoring in physics and eventually getting my teacher's certification for secondary education.
My name is Alexandru Pasca. I'm going to University of Michigan next year, and I'm going to be going into mechanical engineering.
I'm James Frosfeld. I'll be going to Michigan Tech University next year, and I'm going to be studying civil engineering.
I'm Andrew Benner, and I'll be going to Michigan State University at the Lyman Briggs College, and I'll be studying either chemistry or physiology.
I'm Garrett Zook. I'll be attending Michigan State University next year and studying mechanical engineering.
My name's Tyler Shubatowski, and I'm also going to Michigan State University, and I'll be studying business administration.
Okay, thanks guys for that short bio. The next part of our coffee talk, we'd like to ask each of you a question or two, and I would like to start with Megan Jacobs, if we could pass the mic to Megan. Megan, my question for you is, did you ever struggle with anything at LHS, and if so, how did you overcome it?
Probably the biggest thing that I struggled with was switching from the International Academy to Lakeland after sophomore year, because there were kind of a lot of gaps in math and things that I didn't know that other Lakeland students knew already. So just to try to catch up, I just went and did a lot of after-school work with my teachers and worked to try to catch up on everything.
Great, thank you.
All right, Megan, if you could pass that back up to Tyler. Sorry about that. Tyler, you certainly have been able to achieve quite a bit since you have been here at Lakeland, and I'm sure inquiring minds would like to know just how you've done that. So if you have some sage pieces of advice to share about how you were able to achieve those accomplishments.
I'd say to accomplish things, you have to set goals and set a standard for yourself, and it's about your personal best, where you want to go in life and the things that you want to do. Not necessarily what other people say, but where you set those goals and not only meeting them, but exceeding all of your goals. So it's good to set high standards and always achieve those.
Can you pass that to Melanie, please? As we shuffle around here a little bit. Melanie, we had you guys kind of give us some information about yourselves earlier on, and one of the things you talked about was the individual for you who really made a lasting impression and why. And you could talk a little more about that and some of the things that really helped you with that person.
Okay, well, I know in elementary school and like at the beginning of middle school, I struggled a lot in school with like behavior and with schoolwork, and I think my dad's like the only person who believed in me the whole time, so I really appreciate that.
Is there kind of advice you'd give to parents of kids who might be struggling right now?
Just that like if you have a kid who you think is struggling, maybe there's more to them than what you like think, kind of.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So my question is for Andrew Miller. So Andrew, has there ever been a time you struggled at LHS, and if so, how did you overcome that?
Well, during my 4 years here at LHS, there have been many times where I've struggled to just find the person that I really want to be. Like, for the rest of my life, there's been times where, you know, I've had doubts of what I've wanted to do with my future and just trying to find myself and not blend in with the crowd here. And basically what I did to overcome all of this is just surround myself with people that I want to be with and do things that I want to do to make myself happy and, you know, let life play its cards out the way it will.
So that seems like something that you guys are going to have to deal with next year as you go off to new environments with new groups of people as well. So yeah, definitely getting to know, you know, different people who have similar interests to you can be a great tool to use once you move on. So thank you.
The next question is for Stacy Michaud. If we could pass the mic. Stacy, being in a position that you're in, which is a great position, looking back, what kind of advice would you give to an incoming freshman or maybe a current Lakeland student who might be struggling with something?
I would have to say always try, always put your best foot forward, because when you try, you tend to find out that you do better than you had expected. So, and also it's kind of like once you're done, it's kind of like a motivator to go on and do more. So, and also once you find out that you actually did very well on what you tried but didn't exactly have the most motivation to do, it actually begins to motivate you more and more, and that's basically what I saw throughout my high school years.
That's great. And it sounds like you have experienced that. Do you have a situation or a story behind that?
I would have to say taking Spanish throughout high school.
Yeah.
This year I definitely got pretty stressed out with the whole Spanish, and I wanted to quit, but my parents and my counselor especially, they helped talk me out of it and said, well, you know, you could even clap out of this and get college credit for it, so you don't have to retake it in college. So I think that really helped me stick with it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good. All right, this one is for Garrett Zook, if you could pass it back there. Garrett, I would imagine that there are times that people look at you and say, wow, it must be really easy to, you know, be this wonderful guy and have these great talents. But we all know that life comes with its struggles. And I wonder if you could tell us about any struggles that you've had and how you've overcome them while you were here.
Yeah. No, I mean, everybody definitely struggles at one point or another. I think for me, trying to come into high school and trying to do so many things all at once, I think that balancing my time and trying to gain those time management skills that are so important, I think that was a big struggle for me, especially starting sophomore year when I started AP US History from Mrs. Smith. I mean, there's a lot of time commitment and a lot of work that went with it, along with, you know, sports schedules and Boy Scouts and different activities. And it's a lot all at once on one plate. But I think learning to look at the week ahead and you actually use a planner and start to budget your time effectively was really important for me.
Very good. Okay. And certainly something that will carry well over into college, won't it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
This question's for Andrew. Easy pass this time. Andrew, when I looked at some of the information that we had talked about before and some of the things you'd said, one thing that stood out was your answer to people who've made a difference for you during the time that you've been in school, from elementary school all the way through high school. And can you kind of talk about those people and the things that you learned from them and how that might have helped you?
Yeah, the main one was Miss Ellen Soroka. Like, she was my third grade teacher at Kurtz Elementary, and she kind of taught me, like, what hard work can pay off for. And I kind of struggled at like, I don't know if everyone knows this, but I really struggle at reading. It's my main, like, weakness in school. But she kind of pushed me through it and helped me with all that stuff. And she taught me what hard work, like how helpful it is and all that. And all my main values from school and all that, it's mainly because of her when I was younger. And then middle school, Miss Raleigh, I would always love going. She renamed now because she got remarried, but Miss Raleigh was my favorite teacher in all of middle school, and I would always love going to her class, and it was just enjoyable to be there. And same with Mr. Heron, because he taught you life lessons. And then in high school, I'd have to say Mrs. Smith was my favorite teacher, because as Garrett said, her class is very rigorous, even though it's only one AP class. I probably did more work in that class than multiple AP classes combined, but I'm glad it was like that, because it kind of gives you a feel for how college should be and stuff like that, and I feel like she's probably the best teacher here.
That's a heck of a compliment. Wow. We got to make sure we repeat that for her. Well, thank you very much.
My question's for Alex. So Alex, if you had, I guess, one piece of advice to give to a younger student or someone who's currently in high school or coming up to high school, what would that be?
Well, I suppose a piece of advice would be that hard work is a cornerstone of education, and it's a large part of any class, and I'm sure all these people here got here through hard work. So what I'd say is that no matter the circumstances or the setbacks or obstacles in your way, there never should be a time when you've decided that that's it and you can't do anything anymore. You should always be striving towards something higher. And also don't procrastinate ever, because it's a bad habit to fall into.
So Alex, where did you get the sense of wanting to always put in hard work towards whatever you're working towards?
Well, it started, I'm assuming, my freshman year, where I knew that I could do better, and since I had transferred from another school district, I was put into classes that I felt far too easy for me. So I just kept doing my best in the class to show that I could do it and that I could move up to the next level.
Thank you.
The next question is for Brittany Leonard. Brittany, the question for you is, what kind of struggles have you experienced, not just maybe at your time at Lakeland, it could have been in middle school or elementary, and maybe it was academic, or maybe it was, you know, with friends. Obviously, we know adolescence is a time of a lot of turmoil, so you guys have had a lot of pressure academically, but personally as well, and just wondering how you overcame that struggle, Brittany.
My struggle is balancing volleyball and school, because it was really hard with taking AP classes and participating in a sport. I felt like I always had a lot of homework and it was hard to manage my time, so I just made sure that I put it in my planner and just had a schedule and made sure I stuck to that schedule, because it's one thing to make a schedule, but to stick to it would really make sure I would get everything done.
Okay, James Probst, next one is for you. I think it could be said that behind every great student is probably a great person or two. Have there been one or two in your life that have left a lasting impression and helped you get and stay on the right path?
I wouldn't say necessarily that it was one or two specific people, but all of the people that I've come through school with and grown up with around, like my parents, all my friends and everything, just people I surround myself with, help me get a good work ethic and strive for certain goals over time. But then as far as teachers goes, there's two major teachers I see that have influenced me personally. In 4th and 5th grade, I had the same teacher, Mrs. Reif, and that was one of my first classes I actually enjoyed going to. So I actually started to enjoy learning different things, which doesn't happen that often, in school. So, and then a second teacher is Mrs. Smith. Like they said, she is really good, really hard, rigorous class that made you get a good work ethic early on in high school that would carry you through the rest of high school and then later on into college and your career.
So you enjoyed having somebody push you forward to reach your best?
Yeah, I definitely thought that helped a lot to have that all the weight put on you early on, so that you could learn how to manage your time differently than how you would in middle school or elementary school.
How do you think you could find that sort of person, say, as you go off to college? Because they might not just drop in your lap. How would you find someone like that?
I would search out my professors after class or whatever and just make sure I always keep striving to get my goals and then find other people that help me do the same.
Great. So push yourself to push others to push you. Sounds great.
Thank you, James. At this time, we'd like to go around and hear from each of you about a proudest or most memorable moment that you have So James, if you'd be so kind to start us
Yeah,
out.
I'd say the most proudest moment I've ever had in high school was probably last year, junior year. I got all-state honors for track and my 4x8 team, and before that I wasn't really that good at running, and then I worked hard over the year and I got all-state honors, which is a pretty big deal.
Thank you. I would say the proudest moment I've had so far is being told that I'm the valedictorian and will get to address the class of 2012 as valedictorian, because it's a really big honor for me. I haven't had much of a chance to really, I don't know, get to express my feelings about how great class that we've had and how impressed I am personally. So that would be it.
I think the proudest moment I've had in high school was during last year's football season when we beat Milford in overtime. Just the emotions that went along with that game. It was something else. Like, I've never felt that happy and sad in the same 5 minutes ever. So yeah, that's probably something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
My proudest moment is sophomore year when I was pulled up for districts for volleyball, and it was just nice to think that my coach thought I was good enough so that I could play with the varsity team, and it just made me feel really proud.
My proudest moment was when I became captain of the golf team at the end of junior year, and it pretty much, I worked really hard with my coach and with the team so that I could try to get that honor, and then when it finally paid off, it felt really good.
My proudest moment would probably just be my whole swim season, because I was the captain, and even though I wasn't the fastest, I was really, really proud of everyone, and I think we had the best season we've ever had, and I was just really proud of everyone, and I had a lot of fun. I'm really going to miss it.
My proudest moment would have to be when I found out I made it in the top 10. It was just a big sigh of relief for me to figure out that all of my hard work definitely paid off. So that's definitely most proud for me.
I think pride comes from hard work, and like everyone said, like the hard work has paid off. And one instance of that for me was Winterfest this year. Through leadership class, we put together Pep Assembly, the Spirit Week, and then the dance, and setting up and planning things out. I think watching it all come together as a great event, that was probably my proudest moment here at Lakeland.
I think for me, mine definitely had to come this fall at the end of the cross-country season and being named Division I state cross-country champion. For me, that was a huge deal. I was very proud of that, and I think that was definitely my most memorable moment.
I had a few memorable moments and proud moments at Lakeland. First would be the one Miller was talking about. Even though I'm not a part of the football team, I was proud to be part of Lakeland High School in that game. And then back to beating Milford. We lost to Milford in soccer our first game against them this year. But then we saw them again in the playoffs, and we beat them, and that was a proud moment for me because losing to Milford after beating them 3 years prior was pretty devastating. And then the last one would be an AP Calculus. I kind of struggled for part of the year, and then I went to Mrs. Anderson for help towards the end of the year, and I studied for 2 or 3 weeks before the AP test, and I ended up getting a 4 on the exam, so I was pretty happy about that. That's it.
Well, in closing, I would just like to take a minute and reflect on everything that they've talked about. I mean, these young people are absolutely amazing, not only academically, you're top 10 in a class of almost 400, but your extracurriculars are just, I mean, they just take my breath away. So congrats, bravo. Thank you for spending the time with us to share your experiences. I know that you guys are going to have an amazing future, and the best is yet to come. I'd like to thank our families for joining us, and also thank you for your support, because without you guys, they wouldn't be where they are either. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed tonight's coffee talk. I'd also like to thank Blazing Bagels for the coffee and bagels as usual. And let's enjoy Senior Honors Night. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys.
Coffee and bagels for tonight's audience, provided by Blazing Bagels. Thanks to Matt, Stu, and the crew at Blazin' Bagels for their support.